What's going on? I want to talk with you today about the creative process. Now, I don't think most people are aware of the creative process. The idea that they can bring something in their imagination into existence, something that they see for themselves, a goal, a desire, a dream, and making it into a reality. It's like Bob Proctor said, if you can hold it in your imagination, you can hold it in your hand. So we have the ability to bring this vision, this idea in our imagination into existence through the creative process, through being aware. Because everything comes down to awareness. You're only earning the amount of money that you're earning because you're not aware of how to earn more. It's all in awareness. So we'll start with the creative process. Everything was at first and for a time a fantasy. Everything that you see. The chair that I'm sitting on. A book. A table. The iPhone. All of these things were at first and for a time a fantasy. It originated in someone's imagination and they made it into a reality. Think of the Wright brothers creating air travel. They first fantasized and people told them they were ridiculous. Their own parents told them they were ridiculous and that they were going to go to hell. Think about that. They had this idea, they saw it in their imagination, and they worked at making it a reality, and in 1903 they did. I remember hearing this story about Orville and Wilbur Wright. They were on the beach in North Carolina, testing the planes, trying to get them in the air, and Orville was flying one of the planes and it crashed. And Wilbur was upset and he was like, gosh, are we really going to do this? Is it really going to happen? And he wasn't believing. And Orville said to him, don't worry, brother. Don't worry. I see us flying that plane. Don't worry. Just let's keep going. Because he saw in his imagination, he held to the vision. And they were working at it, and they made it into a reality. So it started as a fantasy. Everything was at first and for a time a fantasy. So whatever you desire to be, maybe be the top producer at your firm, or own your own business, or get a promotion, whatever it may be, it has to start as a fantasy. It just starts as an idea in your mind. You see it in your imagination, but you're not really doing anything to change it, change your situation, to advance you towards that. You're just visualizing it. So you see this in your imagination. Now, in order to turn this into the next step, you must ask yourself two questions. This fantasy, it's just a fantasy. You can just imagine it. You're just thinking about it. But you ask yourself these two questions. Am I capable? Am I capable? Of course you are capable. There's no one alive that can even guess at the potential that you have. You have infinite potential within you. All things are possible to he who believes. So of course you are capable. Someone else is doing it. Even if someone else wasn't doing it. Look at the Wright brothers. They believed, and they made it into a reality. Steve Jobs with the iPhone. It was ludicrous to think that he could bring this new idea to the public, and they would be receptive to it. This blank screen, just a straight touch screen phone. At the time, everything had buttons, but it was a fantasy, and he worked at making it into a reality. So of course you are capable. And the second question, which is really the only question you have to ask yourself, is am I willing? Am I willing to do what it takes? Am I willing to change what must be changed? To let go of what must be let go of? To go where I have to go? To do what I must do to create it? That's the only question you really need to ask yourself. Are you willing to do what it takes, whatever it takes, for the manifestation of your fantasy? Now, if you answer yes, that fantasy has just become a theory, because now you're willing to do whatever it takes. You're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to let go of what has to be let go of. You're going to change what must be changed within you for the realization of that vision, that fantasy. And you work at it, you're going to fail. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, because you are finding out how to make it into a reality. You're not supposed to know how. You're supposed to just walk the path faithfully, and it will illuminate as you walk it. So that fantasy is turned into a theory. You're willing to do whatever it takes. You must understand that we are governed by natural laws. This universe has natural laws. The law of gender states that all seeds or creations have a gestation or incubation period that must elapse before they come into physical reality. So your idea, this fantasy, is a spiritual seed that's coming into form. But it must go through a process. Time must elapse in order for it to come into this reality. So now that you're aware, you're willing to do whatever it takes, you have this vision, you're doing whatever it takes, you're aware that it's only a matter of time. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You walk the path faithfully. It will illuminate as you walk it. Believe in your imagination. Believe in this vision. Hold to it, and it will become a reality. And the third step is it becoming a fact. It starts as a fantasy. You turn it into a theory, and it becomes a fact in your world. So thanks for tuning in. It starts as a fantasy. Believe in it, and it'll be a reality. I'll see you next episode.